Good day to each and everyone, especially to our instructor. I am Marilogy Ubena and I am the first reporter for this topic entitled Personalities. So my assigned topic is entitled a political and a party system. So first let's define what is a party system. So a party system is a concept in a comparative political science concerning the system of government by a political parties in a democratic country. So, a political party is a group of individuals organized to advance an ideology, vision, or a program with the intention to influence the government through participation in elections. So, a political party engenders the principles and issues imposed by its members as part of a democratic participation. So, the idea is that the political parties have a basic similarities. First, they control the government and have a stable base of mass popular support and create internal mechanism for controlling funding, information, and nominations. So, there are many types of a party system. First, we have a one-party system, dominant party system, two-party system, multi-party system, or a non-partisan system. So, what types of a party system does Philippines have? So to answer that questions, the Philippines has a multi-party system with numerous political parties in which no one party often has a chance to gaining a power alone, and parties must work with each other to form coalitions for the government for a political expediency and convenience. So since no political parties have a sustaining membership to which party leaders are developed, and most of the political parties have the rise and fall and rise character. So in that matter, what are the function of a political parties? So a political party is an organization that coordinate candidates to compete in a particular country's election. So it is common for the members of a party to hold similar ideas about politics, and parties may promote specific ideological or policy goals. So the political parties contest election by representing their candidates. So that would be the end of my discussion. Thank you for listening. And now let's move forward for the next reporter, Ms. Sarah May Sanchales.
Hola, good day everyone. So my name is Sarah May Sanchales and I will be the one to report about the three types of political parties in the Philippines. So there are many diverse political parties in the Philippines. Most parties' membership consists primarily of political figures and leaders, with little or no grassroots membership. The Philippines has a multi-party system with numerous political parties, in which no one party often has a chance of gaining power alone, and parties must work with each other to form coalition government. For political expediency and convenience, since no political parties have sustaining membership to which party leaders are developed, most of the political parties have the rise and fall and rise character. So, there are three types of parties of the Philippines. So, first is the major parties. So, what is major parties? Major parties is which typically correspond to traditional political parties. The second is the minor parties or the party-list organization. So, it is a parties which rely on the party list system to win congressional seats. And third is the regional and provincial parties. So, a party which correspond to region-wide or province-wide organization respectively. So, that's all. Thank you.
Hello to each and everyone. Good day. By the way, this is Emuel Jorge, and at this moment, I'm going to discuss the part of my report which is the interest group. Interest group, also called special interest group, advocacy group, or pressure group. Any association of individuals or organization, usually formally organized, that on the basis of one or more shared concerns attempts to influence public policy in its favor. In addition, all interest groups share a desire to affect government policy to benefit themselves.
Hi everyone, I am Jailin M. Pashilan and I will be discuss about the interest group and social movements. Social movements are broad alliance of people who are connected through their shared interests in social change. Social movements can advocate for particular social change, but they also organize to oppose a social change that is being advocated by another entity. All interest groups share a desire to affect government policy to benefit themselves or their causes. Their goal could be a policy that exclusively benefits group members or one segment of society, or policy that advocacies a broader public purpose. And social movements are large informal groupings of people who together against power holders around a common cause in response to situations of perceived inequality.
So good day everyone, I am Rosalie E. Palomar and my topic is all about political culture. So political culture as a set of shared view and normative judgment held by a population regarding its political systems. The notion of political cultures does not refer to attitude toward specific actors such as a president or a prime minister, but rather denotes people view the political systems as a whole and their belief in its legitimacy. In other words, it is the set of attitudes, beliefs, and sentiments which give order and meaning to a political processes and which provide underlying assumptions and role that govern behavior in the political system. It encompasses both the political ideas and the operating norms of a polity. Hence, the building blocks of political culture are the beliefs, opinions, and emotions of the citizen toward their form of government. In addition, it can be said to be a psychological matter of the people's mentality in relation to political activities, not political activities itself. One of the features of the political culture does not remain unchanged. It is also constantly reorganized in terms of cultural change and society. With the arrival of foreigners to live, the revolution, the war, or any other major change can completely change the political culture of a state. So Almond and Verba classified political cultures into three types. These are parochial political cultures, and the second is participatory political culture, and the last one subject political culture. So when we say parochial political culture, means generally in the underdeveloped countries and in the traditional social system, there is lack of consciousness, an interest or widespread indifference among individuals regarding political issues. While participatory political culture, every citizen actively takes an active role in political affairs. Individuals consider themselves an active member of country existing political system. The participation and evaluation of the individual in the traditional political system is very deep and important in such political culture. Individual is always aware of his rights and duties. And lastly, subject political culture. In this kind of political culture, the role of the people in political affairs is significant. The public is fully aware of the political system prevailing here and the effect of state action on their way of life. Despite the existence of enthusiasm for political life, the people make no attempt to influence the decision-making processes. Rather, most of the government's decisions are accepted without authority. This tendency in public affairs for public interest is attributed to this kind of unactive political culture. What is the role of political culture? The role of political culture, it helps to build community and facilitate communication because people share an understanding of how and why political events, actions, and experiences occur in the country. That's all my part. Thank you.
Good morning everyone, I am Regine El Fabro. So my part is political culture in the Philippines. So the politics of the Philippines take place within a three-branch government system. The country is a democracy led by a directly elected president who serves as both the head of state and the head of government. The president heads the executive branch and has a significant political powers. So there are three-branch government system. So first, executive branch, second, legislative branch, and judicial branch. So the legislative branch makes laws, but the president in the executive branch can veto those laws with a presidential veto. The legislative branch makes laws, but the judicial branch can declare those laws unconstitutional. So the President of the Philippines is elected by direct vote of the people and has a term of 6 years with no provision for re-election.
Good morning, sir. Good morning, classmates. By the way, I am Japet Navarro Gudug, and my topic for today's discussion is all about political activism.
So, political activism. So, its definition, it includes political campaigning, lobbying, voting, or petitioning.
So, with regards to my topic, basically, it is the ways that citizens participate, the processes that lead them to do so, and the consequences of these acts. So, the fact that our country is a unitary in nature, republican in state, and it is in democracy in government, we the citizens have the right to participate some advocacies, events, and even protests related to politics. Well, according to the late US President Abraham Lincoln, that the government is of the people, by the people, and for the people, and it is democracy. So, President Lincoln said this in order to protect democracy, but thus dedicated to the proposition that all men are created equal mean. So now back to the topic, you might say why political activism happens. Well, for the reason or desire to make changes in society toward a perceived greater good. But there are also a kind of political activism which is not aiming for a greater good but to criticize government officials, mostly their opponents rather, from their way of governance. Definitely, politics will be politics, and it matters of how good are you, not a good philosopher, attorney, doctor, and many others, but being a politician. Must do what is good for the government of the people, by the people, and for the people. So, here are the following examples of political activism.
Example of political activism. Forms of activism range from mandate building in the community, including writing letters to newspapers, petitioning elected officials, running or contributing to a political campaign, preferential patronage or boycott of businesses, and demonstrative forms of activism like rallies, street marches, strikes, and sit-ins.
So, first of all, you might be thinking why they have to create some sort of political activism, because they have the privilege to do so, but in accordance to the law. So, as what our constitution says, the law may be harsh, but it is the law. Now, these examples are not even new to hear because it is very often in our times. It is trending. For example, petitioning elected or non-elected officials. For example, our incoming President Bongbong Marcos just been petitioned about the disqualification petition against Marcos. So I don't know if they have the concrete evidence or they are just scared about what will happen next. But that's just only my observation, just because it was reported and it happens in reality. So running or contributing in political campaign, for example, is our aspirant government politicians for their specific positions. They are supported by their party list, businessmen, and even local supporters. So preferential patronage or boycott. So the act of boycott is to stop buying or using the goods or services of a certain company or country as a protest. So, for example, when a businessman stops buying paper products made with rainforest wood to protest deforestation. So, last but not the least, for example, mga protests most often held in University of the Philippines or sa UP. So we all know that UP is very, very famous speaking of the protests, rallies, street marches. They are also doing what they have they plan to do. So that's it. So as what former Prime Minister Winston Churchill said that politics is not a game but it's a serious business. That's it, and thank you for watching and paying your attention.
Hi everyone, my name is Jeremy de la Cruz Atul, and for my part of the report, I'm going to tackle about the political communication.
Political communication is a subfield of communication and political science that is concerned with how information spreads and influences politics, policymakers, the news media, and the citizens. Political communication is also an interactive process concerning the transmission of information among politicians, the news media, and the public. So, since the advent of the World Wide Web, the amount of data to analyze the exploded, and researchers are shifting to computational methods to study the dynamics of political communication. In recent years, machine learning, natural language processing, and network analysis have become key tools in the subfield. It deals with the production, dissemination, precision, and effects of information, both through mass media and interpersonally within political context. This includes the study of the media, the analysis of speeches by politicians and those that are trying to influence the political process, and formal and informal conversation among members of the public. Okay, so the media acts as bridge between government and public. Political communication can be defined as the connection concerning politics and citizen and the interaction modes that connect these groups to each other, whether the relationship is formed by the modes of persuasion, pathos, ethos, or logos. So let's move on to the characteristics of the communication. Politics describes all activities related to the government of a country and the official activities of elected individuals. Political communication refers to the messaging surrounding politics, and it can be directed inward or outward. For example, citizens may direct political messaging toward their elected officials to influence their governance. Conversely, elected officials can direct political communication towards their constituents. So the defining characteristics of political communication is the creation of meaningful narratives in society that work to inform, persuade, and call citizens to action. That's all. Thank you.